Hello and welcome back to YesterGaming, a series of videos where I look back at games from old generations of consoles and give you an overview of what they used to be like. This time the game will be Scooby Doo and the Cyber Chase, a movie tie-in game to the movie of the same name in 2001. The game was released by Warner Bros. In 2001 for the PlayStation 1 and the Game Boy Advance, and is currently sitting at a 6.6 star rating on IMDb, which is slightly lower than the film, which sits at 7 stars.
Oh no! They've got a set of wheels too!
We can therefore infer that people who played the game enjoyed it, but did not enjoy it as much as they did the film. I myself haven't watched the film in a while, so I can't make that comparison. I'm only going to be able to judge the game on how it plays. So without further ado, and a spoiler warning obviously in place, I booted up my PS2, popped the game in a PS1 memory card, and I began.
Wow, Scooby! Like, isn't this groovy? We're the stars of our very own video game!
After a lovely fourth wall break, we're interrupted by the Phantom, who stops us from escaping and tells us that we're trapped in his world now.
You'll never get past the monsters I've unleashed.
Upon the Phantom leaving, the gang then arrives and asks what's happened, before Velma then realises her PDA has been infected by a virus, with the Phantom leaving an email for her.
I challenge you to play this game. You'll lose it every time. The Phantom virus always wins. Success, it will be mine.
Like in every Scooby Doo story, Fred then comes up with a plan to make a trap and gives everyone in the gang their roles.
Scooby, Shaggy, you guys go into the game itself. If you find the virus, get it to follow you back here so we can catch him.
Not that Scooby and Shaggy agree with this plan as they try to escape.
Hey, where are you guys going?
But as usual, they're drawn into the plan by their love of Scooby snacks.
Would you do it for 2 Scooby snacks? Well, would you do it for a whole box of Scooby snacks?
Velma, old pal, you got yourself a deal!
Daphne then gives us a final fourth wall break before I'm allowed to finally take control.
Well, this must be a one-player game. How retro.
We learn that if we need to go save, we have to go talk to Velma before we have a look around and see that there's 7 different worlds for me to go into. I start with the first world, Japan. Scooby's then teleported to Japan, where he's cheered on by the gang, as well as they give me information on what the controls are.
Scooby, when you come to large gaps in the path, be sure to use the X button to jump over them.
The gameplay is much the same as many other platforms from this time, like Crash Bandicoot. You have to jump gaps, throw pies at enemies, bounce on boxes, and eat burgers for health. I can get new lives by picking up 100 loose Scooby snacks from the floor, or finding tokens that give me 1 new life. So going forward, I'm met with my first enemies, which I dispatch easily with a couple of pies. After then dodging and defeating a couple of ninjas, I find a dog tag, which I learn is a checkpoint. This is just as well as straight after I fall in the water and lose a life. Passing the gap and then fighting some more enemies, I've come across my first black belts, which are incredibly easy to defeat at range with pies. I decide to start saving some pies in case I need them for later, as I come across my first sumos, which must have one of the most coolest attack animations going. But once I pass them, I find a full box of Scooby snacks, which marks the end of the level. Falling into a dojo for the second level, I'm greeted by samurai masters. Once I pass them, I find some chain-wielding ninjas, which present a bit of a problem, but once I've passed them, I find that they've also booby-trapped the wall with spears. Crawling past the booby traps, I'm starting to feel confident about my skills as I'm met by a fire-breathing ninja, who puts me in my place and gives me a near-death experience. As we're reaching the end of the level, Velma then contacts us to tell us that the Phantom must be near. She's getting a lot more interference before I grab my Scooby snacks.
Scooby Doo!
Heading into the third level, we quickly learn why there's more interference. I'm faced with a samurai soldier who's acting as one of the Phantom's bosses.
Yeah!
I realise I just need to watch his pattern carefully and hit him with 3 pies to defeat him.
Yeah!
This isn't as easy as I thought, however, as I mistime it and I lose all my pies, meaning I die and I have to start again.
Yeah! Yeah!
Well, we tried.
But coming back, I find it much easier the second time and I get my box of Scooby snacks as a reward.
You did it, Scooby! Good job! Just grab that box of Scooby snacks and you're out of there!
The second world I'm heading to is ancient Rome, and this time I'm taking control as Shaggy. Platforming around the Colosseum with far more floating platforms than I remember seeing in textbooks from ancient Rome. It's a little difficult, but it's very enjoyable. Dodging some skeletons throwing bones at me and throwing pies at some others, I then reach my first skeleton guards. After a little trial and error, I learned that you can't defeat these guys with pies, instead have to run past them when there's a gap in their attacks. Just past the guards there's a skeleton throwing bones at me as I try to jump across gaps. He sadly knocks me in twice as I try to throw pies back at him before I decide to run straight up to him and throw a pie straight in his face. Advancing onwards to a harder platforming section, I die another 4 times because I make poor jumps because I'm being stressed by a skeleton before I decide to kill the skeleton and then do the jumps easier without being stressed. Getting closer to the Colosseum, I'm met with a worrying situation, a skeleton riding a chariot.
Shaggy, that skeleton gladiator's coming after you. You'll have to run fast to keep ahead of him.
Running like my life depends on it because, well, it does. The chariot gets worryingly close, but I'm able to reach the end before he can catch me. And after a few unpleasant front-on camera jumps, I am able to find the Scooby snacks and complete the level.
Yaha! Man, I knew I could do it!
After this, Shaggy is then teleported inside the Colosseum itself, and travelling through the ancient hallways, I find that I have to jump the spears of the guards these times, as they don't constantly move up and down. Along the way I pick up an extra life token, which is just as well because due to a poorly timed jump I fall into a pit and die.
Yikes!
After passing that gap and all the other skeletons in my way, I'm able to reach the end pretty easily. This leads to us being teleported into the fighting ring of the Colosseum, where I'm faced with a lion and 4 skeletons throwing spears at me. Make sure that I'm always running around so that I can dodge the spears and the lion's attack, and I wait for him to get tired before I start throwing pies at him. I sadly die a couple of times trying to do this fight, but on the 3rd time I'm able to dodge enough and attack the lion at the right opportunities to defeat him. Meaning I get my box of Scooby snacks as a reward and my ticket out of Rome. For good measure I go and save with Velma before I then head for the 3rd world, the Arctic Circle. I'm playing as Shaggy again, being thrown from the warmth of Rome into the freezing Arctic, where I'm faced with seals throwing snowballs, rolling polar bears, and falling icicles. After getting a bit too liberal with my pies, I have to resort to just running and jumping past all the enemies, which is made difficult due to the moving glaciers and icy floors. After being hit a couple of times, I am able to reach the end and grab my Scooby snacks.
Alright!
For his 2nd level, Shaggy is thrown into a sled, which he's actually quite excited about.
You know, I've always wanted to ride one of these things. Here we go!
And Shaggy's actually right, this is quite fun, as the only thing I have to worry about on this sledge are penguins. This is of course until I miss a checkpoint and then fall off the edge to my death.
Yikes!
After making sure I hit the checkpoint this time and passing that difficult turn, I find I have to do a jump, which is good until I overcorrect my landing and fall into a pit. I try it again and I land safely, able to then reach the end and grab my Scooby snacks.
Man, I knew I could do it.
This leads to me then being teleported to the final level, at which stage I'm facing the Phantom riding a polar bear atop a block of ice. The ice does its job in making it difficult for me to dodge, but using jumping to turn, I'm able to survive long enough to take all my chances and kill the polar bear. After a quick trip back to the hub world, I then find it's Scooby's turn next, this time being sent back to a prehistoric jungle. These dinosaurs actually look quite cute, and this level is quite easy as I'm able just to run past lots of them and reach the end. This second level, however, is not as easy due to the introduction of two new types of enemies, crocodiles and aquatic dinosaurs. The crocodiles can either open their mouths to try and eat me or duck under the water to make me die, while the dinosaurs can swing their heads to knock me off them, the latter of these being exactly what happens while I'm waiting to jump on a crocodile. While doing the same water crossing, I die twice more due to poorly timed jumps. Then once past the water crossing, I have to then dodge some boulders and sneak past some big dinosaurs to progress onwards. But then comes my worst fear, a broken bridge. Due to some poorly timed jumps and some falling planks, I end up falling 4 times to my death before I'm able to reach the end. As you would expect in a Jurassic game, the final boss is a T-Rex being protected by falling lava bombs. And nickname the T-Rex Barney for obvious reasons, which is probably a bad idea as he then takes his revenge and kills me.
Well, we tried.
But being a lot more careful the second time, I'm able to avoid enough to take my chances to kill Barney. Moving on to the 5th world, Shaggy is then teleported to the big city where he has a skateboard to ride down a massive hill. This is nowhere near as fun as it was sledding during the Antarctic levels, as it's much harder to slow down the board, avoid obstacles, or jump gaps. As a result, I die 4 times falling into gaps during the skateboarding section before I'm happily able to reach the bottom. This isn't, however, the end of the level, as I now have to face an uphill section avoiding falling trash cans and other skateboarders. But passing them with ease and defeating some break dancers and passing some steam pipes, I'm able to reach the end and grab my Scooby snacks. After this, Shaggy's then teleported inside an office building, where I have to avoid security cameras, dodge trip wires, and move along conveyor belts. Avoiding all of these, I then meet the Phantom again, where he's floating in front of me firing lightning bolts for me to dodge. After passing the Phantom's sneak attack, I'm then badly beaten up by a security guard, before I'm then killed off by a laser tripwire.
Oh well, back to square one.
After being a lot more careful the second time, I'm able to avoid the guard and go grab my Scooby snacks and teleport out of there. Teleporting to the boss level, I then find there's a Funland robot, and to beat him I have to run around on a conveyor belt, avoid bombs, and take my chances to throw pies at him. This is easier said than done, however, as I then fall off twice due to the conveyor belt changing directions. But I learn from my mistakes and I take my chances to hit back and win. Returning back to the hub world, we then find that the next world is Egypt, and I'm playing as Scooby Doo again. Now I remember as a kid always struggling with the Egypt levels. I think even once I got a friend to do the levels for me, so as I enter the period I am a little bit worried. The pyramid is filled with dangerous enemies such as bats, fire traps and trap floors, as well as some absolutely horrible platforming sections. During one of the sections I ended up dying another 3 times. I persevere onwards and I meet my first Anubis jackal, which are coolly designed but very easy to beat. And after tackling a pretty easy final puzzle platform, I'm able to reach the end and grab my Scooby snacks. Level 2 drags me deeper into the pyramid where I meet my first mummies, which are equally easy to beat. Of course, pride comes before a fall, or in my case, 2. But getting past that section and defeating some very easy snakes, I then die during another platforming section 3 more times. And this is all before the final hell of the level, a massive pit with tiles for me to jump on, enemies for me to dodge and defeat, massive boulders that are trying to knock me into the pit. This torture caused me to die 6 more times due to the bats and the boulders giving me problems. After lots of stressing and dodging, I'm able to reach the end and I grab my Scooby snacks. And at the end of all this hell, I then have to face the Phantom again. This time, he's riding a camel. Due to the Phantom cowardly hiding behind a shield, I have to knock mummies off the platform to weaken the shield and be able to attack him. This is a lot harder than I thought, as it's a relatively small platform and there's a lot of mummies, causing me to die twice.
Well, we tried.
But luckily it's 3rd time the charms, I'm able to push the mummies off the platform, throw my prize at the Phantom and defeat him. This means there's only one world left for me to do, the amusement park, which if I remember correctly is the last location in the film. The first enemies I meet in the amusement park are rabbits throwing carrots and jugglers throwing balls at me, but I'm easily able to dodge them and continue on to the log flumes. The log flumes are a hard platforming section which caused me to die 3 times due to my poor judgment. Jumping on though, I reach a haunted house, at which stage I'm confronted with vampires and ghosts who end up chasing me off the edge to my death again. But deciding on my second try just to run straight past them, I'm able to reach the end of the level easily. The second level is a medieval themed ride in which I have to travel through a maze filled with living roses and catapults. I have to use these catapults to cross moats, however on the first try I fall into the water and die. That death was because I didn't realise I need to double jump as well as use the catapults to cross the moats, and whilst I did it correctly that time, on another catapult I tried it and I died. But using the catapults correctly, I'm able to reach the castle where I'm confronted with guards, archers and knights before I have to deal with even more catapults. These catapults are also difficult and I fail a couple of times, however I am able to reach the end and grab my Scooby snacks. And that means the only thing left to do is to defeat the Phantom, and that means I have to teleport into the game's code to battle him. disorientating background of this level, along with the hard to dodge attacks of the Phantom, caused me to die a total of 6 times.
Well, we tried. I'm over here.
For being careful and not letting the Phantom hit me during the first 2 phases of his battle, I'm then able just to allow him to hit me on the final phase before I get my chance to throw the final pie and defeat him.
I'm over here. Oh boy, oh boy.
You did it, Scooby! Hurry up and get back here! And bring the Phantom virus with you!
And with this, Scooby returns to the hub world with the Phantom in chase, sadly finding though that Fred and Daphne haven't returned yet with a trap for the Phantom.
Fred and Daphne aren't back with that trap yet. What should we do?
Like you're asking us? You're the brains in the group.
I never expected you to be such good players. You may have beaten my monsters, but this game is not over.
But as the Phantom's threatening us, Fred turns up with a PDA which he sucks the Phantom into as he's realised it has antivirus software.
This game is definitely over.
Are you guys okay?
Like, where did he go?
Yeah, where did he go?
The wireless communication system.
We looked all over the place for a trap, but we couldn't find anything that would work.
And then I remembered that this system has virus protection software on it.
And with that and a lot more fourth wall breaks about how this is a game, the game is now complete.
So, you guys still want to be in a video game?
It was nice to go back and complete this game, considering I know I struggled with it as a kid, much as I did with the first video in this series, The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge. The game is relatively short, however I wasn't really expecting a 50-hour campaign from a PS1 game. But it does have its difficulty curves as well, as it took me a total of 56 deaths to be able to complete this game. As always, it's been fun, and if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more old game reviews. I haven't fully decided yet what my next game is going to be, but I think it'll be either The Simpsons Hit and Run or Duke Nukem 64. If you want to check out more of my gaming videos, please consider watching this one on the left about Need for Speed Most Wanted, or if you want to watch a different video I've made, please check out my look back at Autumn on the right, or just consider going to my channel and looking through my playlists. Thank you all very much and have a great day.